What's going on, guys? It's Brian,
And Jennifer.
and today is Christmas Day, and it's
Mhm.
the final day of 25 Days of Disney.
Merry
And,
Christmas!
and today we are talking about possibly the greatest superhero slash just movie of all time, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me. Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
Yes! Oh my god, it was so good.
So before we get into the movie, give your opinion about it. No spoilers, so that way we can go right into spoilers. I love this movie. I've seen it 3 times already. I plan on seeing it more.
Mhm.
And it when I say this is the best Spider-Man movie and it might be the best superhero movie of all time, I'm not lying. What do you think?
There was just something with that, like you said too, without spoiling it right now. There was just something so special about it. It was well written, so well done.
Mhm.
There weren't areas in it that I feel like people could complain about. Like, okay, there like, yes, there were sad moments and different things that happened, but it was just so good. And the things that they did, like, it's gonna go down in history what they did.
Like, even with Avengers Endgame, for me at least, the lull moment, if you've seen it already, if you haven't seen it, you'll want to stay for the entire movie. You'll want to stay for that entire 3 hours and 2 minutes. For me though, after seeing it multiple times, my time to go to the bathroom was when it was Hawkeye and Black Widow doing their fight to sacrifice themselves.
Oh god.
I thought it was corny. To me, I thought it was corny because now I know what's happening. I knew what's going to come.
Mhm.
With this movie, because I've seen it 3 times now. If I ever left the theater, I was a little bit sad because I love this movie. There's no part in this movie where I'm like, man, I can go to the bathroom right now and not miss a thing. This
Right.
movie is legitimately going completely balls to the wall. It's not all action, but there's things in it that you have to watch. This is the only thing that gets me about it is that I don't think it gets enough credit for what it actually does. To me, this is the perfect Marvel movie, especially when it's with the number one character in Marvel. Because Iron Man became the number one Marvel character because of the Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
But when you go back to the early 2000s, 1990s, 1980s, early to the 2010s, there's one superhero that everybody knows, and it's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the perfect movie for that character.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said too, the way they wrote it, there was a moment, I can't remember when it was. I thought the movie was gonna end,
Mhm.
and I thought it was gonna be all over with. And I'm like, what? It's gonna be over? And then like, oh my God, so many more amazing, wonderful things happened after that. That's why I said how amazing this was written.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
give it 100.
it goes through the roof. It's gonna exceed 10.
Oh yeah. So this is so now we're gonna go into spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Tobey Maguire's in it.
Yes.
Andrew Garfield. It's the worst kept secret of all time. Everybody knew it was gonna happen, but no. So I saw it opening night. I had the privilege of seeing it opening night. I bought my tickets because everybody was having trouble buying tickets. The sites were crashing. Nobody could get them. There's memes out there of Bully Maguire like rubbing dirt in people's eyes and saying, "Oh, you're not going to get your tickets" and stuff like that. I got my tickets, and so your story, what you were telling me, is that you weren't in the theater with a lot of people, and they weren't reacting to it.
Yeah. So I'll just explain that now. I was not available to go with Brian and Mike when they went to go see it. But when you saw it with Mike, that was arguably your second time seeing it.
That was my second time seeing it.
Yeah. I was not, me and Julia couldn't go see it until Sunday. We happened to go a very early time during the day, and there wasn't that many people in there. So in a way, though, I feel like when there's not a lot of people in the movie theater, that's when people get even more rowdy.
Yeah.
I've had the experience of, because they know there's not a lot of people to bother. But this, I felt like me and Julia were the only ones reacting. And when I'm on TikTok coming home and seeing how people were reacting in opening night, everything else, I'm like, God damn it. Like, we missed all the cheering, the like, all the gasping and like all this stuff. So I don't know if it just happened to be the several families that were in there already saw it, or they're not those type of people. But like, we were getting all giddy, like, oh my God, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have been there with those reactions. But at the same time, a lot of people said, I saw on TikTok, I'm not the only one that experienced this. They were in theaters other days where they had a crap ton of people who saw it for the second time already when it was their first, and no one was really reacting. So
yeah. My favorite thing, I got lucky because I had the exact opposite
experience
happening reactions. I had the exact opposite. Everybody cheered. So the very first thing that you see is like there's laughter. This takes place literally a day after, or no, that doesn't. It takes place 10 minutes after Mysterio gives away that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They go through all of that, and you get to see Matt Murdock. You get to see Charlie Cox come back as Daredevil. Huge reaction there with everybody in there. They all clapped. Very awesome.
I didn't know who the hell that was.
If you watch the Netflix show, if you watch so with the Hawkeye, they brought in Kingpin. That's why I was really hoping we were going to see Kingpin and Spider-Man, just even if it was a little bit of a cameo.
I feel like someone did react in the theater to that with him, because I'm like, what is, because if anything, it reminded me of Doc Ops, if I'm saying the name correctly. It reminded me of him with,
Doc Ock?
Yeah, Doc Ock. It reminded me of the glasses and stuff. So I'm like, is this foreshadowing that, which we already know from the trailers he's going to be in it? So I was like, maybe that's it, but I didn't realize it was some other Marvel character.
Oh yeah, no, he's Daredevil. So here's the thing. I want to tell everybody about the whole movie, and like I was telling Jennifer before we start recording, I might do a full in-depth movie review and go fully into it. With this, I don't want to tell everybody so much. I mean, we already gave away the big spoilers with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but if there's any worst kept secret in the history of movies, I don't know what it is. This is the worst kept secret ever. Um, so I'm not going to tell you so we're not going to tell you everything that happens.
Right.
The true, so there is Doctor Strange thing. You see him do the spell where Peter keeps interrupting him, and he does 5 different spells, which brings in 5 different it brings in 5 different villains from the Raimi universe and the Amazing Spider-Man universe. And what Peter, instead of trying to kill these guys and stop them, he's trying to help them throughout this movie.
Which was
Alfred
stupid.
Molina.
I'm like, what are you doing, Peter? Come on. And the whole time I was sitting there, I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're gonna go help Green Goblin? Like, you're gonna do this stuff? Like, what the hell, man? I don't care if he's like not psychotic at the moment. Like, you're being stupid, but they're not from his world, so he doesn't know better.
Like, the only one that was gonna work, and we all knew it was gonna work, was Alfred Molina, and that's because I might when it comes down to it, we might do old reviews of the Spider-Man movies.
Yes,
because I love those movies.
we need to do that. I actually watched Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield last night.
The only one that was gonna probably work was Alfred Molina, because he truly wasn't a bad guy. It was the tentacles, it was the arms that were making him a bad guy. They were controlling him through that chip in his neck, which they helped him with. You get to see Green Goblin, who I like his new costume, but I also don't like it. I love the mask. I love the classic mask. They have him in it for the first time that you see him, and you see him talk to it like he does in the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But then after that, he gets rid of it. He breaks it. He still has the armor, but he's wearing a purple hoodie, which makes him look like the comic book accurate Goblin. But instead of him having a green face or a green mask, it's just Norman Osborn, which with Willem Dafoe, he really doesn't need that much to help him look creepy. He's the dude's incredibly handsome, which is really weird, but he can also make himself look like a freak. So he does it very well. He didn't need a mask.
His voice just gets you.
Oh yeah. So they brought back Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin. They brought back Alfred Molina as Octavius. And what surprised me so everybody knew that Jamie Foxx was back because he was in everything, and they're even talking about doing a Electro TV show now.
Oh, really?
When
that music played, it was so eerie.
Oh, it was awesome.
His music.
And what surprised, so I don't know the actor for Lizard. I'm sure he's a good actor. Can't remember his name though, because unfortunately he was the least. He was probably the least of all the villains that came back. But then they brought back Sandman, and they had him be sand the entire time. You never saw his face until the end. And I was thoroughly surprised that they actually brought back Thomas Hayden Church.
But there were rumors online that he wasn't actually there, that they literally just replayed the clip from Spider-Man 3 when he started going back to human form.
I mean, they might have. I wouldn't be surprised, but he talks to them for a little. He talks a little bit too. So
yeah, well, that stuff was like recorded somewhere, but I meant like him being in the physical space. Too many people are skeptical that it's like the exact same footage.
I mean, here's the thing, if it is, then they do a really good job of cropping it in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't tell if it is or not. Me personally, I like to believe it's Thomas Hayden Church because one, he's my favorite idiot villain because he was in George of the Jungle. But
oh yeah.
So I want to get into my personal favorite parts, which is when they bring in Andrew Garfield, and because somehow Ned, he's magical. No idea why. No idea how.
Yeah, he's like, let's get this going.
I want to see Peter Parker. And they do. They say, I want to see Peter Parker. And they show Peter Parker, but it's not the right Peter Parker. He jumps through and he's in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And then he takes off his mask. And there's Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
But see, like, I guess, like, when I saw these reaction videos online, There were people that gasped the second they saw him coming through. Some
Oh, yeah.
people didn't happen until he took his hood off. But first off, he's taller than Tom.
Yeah.
So even his mannerisms, all Spider-Mans have different mannerisms. So I knew it was him just walking through the alleyway coming through. And then his voice, like, duh, guys, like that's Andrew talking.
Well,
And then
also
when he took it off, it's like, oh my God.
So the thing is, with all their costumes, they're all different. They
Yeah.
all look a little bit the same, but they're all different. His eyes are huge. Once he turned around, I saw his eyes. I'm like, well, that's Andrew Garfield. He comes through, and it's still one of the most exciting things ever because he takes off his mask, and everybody. So this is one of the biggest reactions. Everybody cheers. Amazing, amazing reaction. Awesome reaction.
Mhm.
And then he goes, "I want to see Peter Parker again." And all of a sudden, you see step through. It's not even Spider-Man. It's actually Tobey Maguire stepping through as Peter Parker, and he's nice, he's polite, he's kind of has a little bit of a flirt with Ned's grandmother or his whatever. It might be his mom, might be his grandma. I'm pretty sure it's his grandma. And you don't see him in the suit until the very end. So,
Yeah.
that you would have thought that the Beatles came on screen. This is back when the Beatles came off the plane in the 60s or 70s, whenever they did that.
That's how badly everyone was reacting when Toby came
Oh
out.
yeah, because everybody loves the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man. I was 8 years old when that Spider-Man came out.
Mm-hmm.
I can probably quote you 30 or 40 different lines from that Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made such an impact on those kids.
Yeah.
Mike always says that's his favorite Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
He said it's the best Spider-Man. I will argue with him.
Yeah, that actually leads into what Julia said.
Yes.
She's not here, so I'm going to read you. This is her.
Mhm.
I'm quoting Julia. No Way Home was special for our generation because it had the Spider-Man from our childhood, the Spider-Man from our adolescence, and the Spider-Man from our adulthood.
Yeah.
Which is so true.
It makes sense. So Andrew Garfield gets a lot of flack for the movies, but as Spider-Man, here's the thing. Tobey Maguire was the perfect Peter Parker. In the video games, when he was able to actually have more quips and jokes, he was amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But in the movies, he couldn't do too much of it because of what the script was offering him.
Okay.
With Andrew Garfield, now this is just my opinion, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna have their own opinion. With Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I think Andrew Garfield was the perfect Spider-Man.
He
Quipping.
he was so good.
Oh yeah, he had the quips, the jokes. His mannerisms when he was Spider-Man, because when you look at Spider-Man comics or you watch Spider-Man cartoons, usually what they are is that they're a little bit buff, but they're not super buff. They made the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he was built like a brick house. With Andrew Garfield, he wasn't built, but he was lengthy and he was and he was ripped still. He still had muscle on him, but like huge. So he looked more like Spider-Man to me. When you get to Tom Holland, he's the best blend of both.
Which is very true.
Oh yeah, his Peter Parker is very much like Tobey Maguire. He's kind, he's sweet, he's nervous a lot of the time, and he doesn't really know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Which back in 2002, that was more of like being quiet. In this era, it's more about being awkward. Is with how you want to portray that sort of person. But when he turns to Spider-Man, he's quippy, he's jokey, he's fast, he looks great in the suit. When you see all three of them together, you can see the evolution of what they were doing.
You're honestly right with that, because
Yeah.
also you can just see it just in the age range, because now since Toby has not been on screen for so long with Spider-Man, I was almost wondering if they weren't even going to put him in the suit. Like, I thought he was actually going to come out and saying that I'm retired or something, because it's been so long. But it was interesting to see him get back into character. Same with Andrew, because Toby, it's been since 2007.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And then it's been since 2014 for Andrew. And I, like I said, I watched Amazing Spider-Man last night. I'm gonna go back and watch all of them. I have not seen the Tobey Maguire ones in forever, and I don't know if I've actually seen the third one fully, or maybe even not the end of the second one, because a lot of times when those were out, like my cousins were into them, I was into Spider-Man, but it wasn't like how I am now. So I really want to watch them back. And it's just so cool to just see them like step back in their character so easily and believable. Because there's a lot of people that will come back later on in their life when they're doing all these dang reboots now, that they are not very believable when they are reprising their character again.
So the best, because I think one of them described, I think it was Andrew Garfield, because here's the thing, Andrew Garfield loved doing Spider-Man. He loved being Spider-Man. The movie, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 was such a disaster of a movie, not because of him. It was because of everything they were trying to build, because they were trying to do what DC was doing and build a huge spider universe. With Kraven the Hunter, they were going to do a whole bunch of movies with the Sinister Six, Rhino, stuff like that. That they jam-packed Amazing Spider-Man 2 with so much garbage that nobody liked it. And it's not because of Andrew Garfield. If I had to give my opinion, Andrew Garfield's the least out of the three Spider-Man that I like, but Andrew Garfield's still a great Spider-Man. He would make so many jokes about playing Spider-Man. He loved playing Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire was a little bit iffy after a while in playing Spider-Man, but he still signed on for a fourth one.
He turned into a crank ass. Oh my god, the memes in the footage that are going around. I love this one. It's all three Spider-Mans when you see them at airports. You see Tom, he's like, hey, and then Andrew's like, what up? And then you have Toby. It's like that death stare, like when he goes through.
They're just screaming. But they all three love playing Spider-Man. Tom was saying that this was going to be his last Spider-Man movie, but they paid him a lot more money, so he's going to be more Spider-Man movies. This is they're doing the generational gap for each one of these guys, because Toby was my Spider-Man. This is what I grew up with. Andrew Garfield was the bridge to the MCU, and then Tom Holland is the new Spider-Man. He's the improved Spider-Man.
Not improved.
So it's hard to say that. It's not hard for me to say. It's kind of sad for me to say that Tom Holland is the best one, because after watching all of these guys, it makes me go back and feel nostalgic about watching the first three movies, because that's what I grew up on. It makes me enjoy the Amazing Spider-Man 1 even more, even though the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had some good parts in it. It really does show that when these guys, one, are paid enough, and two, that these guys care enough about the character that they're playing. They talk about how Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man both have web shooters, but Tobey Maguire's organic. And
does it come out from any other place? Nope, just the wrist.
They even make Andrew Garfield feel better about himself with,
you're amazing. You need to get some more self-talk. And he's the amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, and it's just it's such a fun movie. And I think honestly we said a lot about this movie without even spoiling it. We spoiled the biggest thing. that these 3 Spider-Man are in it.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't spoil everything. And I think this is a good way to leave it, because we want you, as the audience, we need you to go see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have to experience it. Again, we gave you a spoiler warning at the beginning. Hopefully you took that to heart, because we spoiled it right away. This is, without a doubt, if not the most nostalgic feeling and the most fun feeling movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with Endgame, there was some parts in it where it was like, man, this is a really great movie, but there's a lot of lull in it.
There was a lot of depression in that movie.
Yeah.
We lost both Steve and Tony. So
Yeah. With this, it's fun, it's energetic.
mm-hmm.
There is a lot of emotion in it. You get to see these characters that you never. Going back to when Spider-Man first got into the MCU, never would have guessed. Never would have guessed seeing them all in this movie.
No,
I mean,
a campaign has started from this to make the Amazing Spider-Man 3.
And
it's like on fire online.
Oh yeah, and the Spider-Man 4. They want to see old man Spider-Man. They want to see Venom versus the Amazing Spider-Man. There's Sony, from going from not knowing what to do with Spider-Man,
mm-hmm.
they've made Into the Spider-Verse, which is, so here's the thing. No Way Home is the best live action Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales is the best Spider-Man movie. Not animated, not live action. It's the best Spider-Man movie. It is such a good movie. It's fun to watch. I'll do a review about that too.
I have not seen that yet. I need to watch it.
that is a great movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the best live action movie. The only thing that would have made it better is if they actually did show Miles Morales in this.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one way that it could have been a little bit more perfect with this Spider-Man movie.
What would that be?
If they showed Uncle Ben. If somehow they got Uncle Ben just a little bit to show him. Unfortunately, the actor that played him in the Sam Raimi one has passed away now. But I think that if they had a quote, or if they had like a little bit of a showing from them, because with the technology now, they can bring back all the dead people and have them be in starring roles now. They could. They really
kind of creepy,
could.
But it's true.
Well,
the thing is that people are saying that we all crapped our pants when this happened. They said when the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness they're saying that we don't need this. Like, this might have just been like the door slightly cracking open. We might be getting to see some big whammies just in Doctor Strange coming up.
Oh, if there's some way that we get a Lou Ferrigno Hulk out of this, I'll scream. I will scream, because Lou Ferrigno is still built like a brick house. So I'm super excited for that, but we have to wait till May for that to come out.
I know, because everyone's like online flying around with these theories, like maybe they could bring back like all of like people from the X-Men and actually have them, so it's the multiverse, bringing back like the Fantastic Four that me and Mike love, that everyone craps on, where Chris Evans is the Human Torch.
The only thing that I know what's going on, and then this is a huge rumor, and it's probably true, is that Professor X is probably going to be in Multiverse of Madness. There's a pretty good chance that we're going to see Patrick Stewart in the Multiverse of Madness. I don't know what else we're going to see. And there's also a rumor saying that this is going to be the first appearance of Deadpool in the MCU.
I can see that happening.
I hope that this movie is rated R, because I want to see Deadpool do some weird shit. But we've talked a lot about the Spider-Man. We we spoiled the biggest thing in it, but we didn't spoil a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So please go see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you think about it. Tell us if you loved it or if somehow, I don't know how you hated it, but if you did, let
There's
us know
something
why
wrong with
you
a
did.
person if they don't like this Senate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Make sure you like, make sure you comment, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to thank you so much for another awesome year of 25 Days of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas, guys, from all of us here at Stub Club. We love you and we thank you for your support.
And we will see you in the new year.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Bye.